Cross, and we are joined by Barrett Sallee, a guy who wears a bunch of hats. You can hear him on the radio, on Sirius XM satellite radio. CBS Sports, his, I guess, real employer, television,
real
online.
Employer.
Well, I mean, it's like if
honestly,
you have multiple jobs.
Are any of us really employed?
That's
We're just kind of screw around all day long. But no, CBSSports.com. And look, I'm all dressed up today because I have to do TV on HQ like all day long.
The king of gym shorts on the airplane had to put on a suit today.
Dude, so I put my suit on today for the first time in a year and a half, and I tried to button it.
No.
I was like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, but you work out like 17 days a week.
Apparently not well enough.
I know how that goes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Working out 17 days a week? Or
trying to button the suit?
Trying to shirt to get you fit you there, yeah.
Hey, so I'm glad that we're visiting with you today, Barrett. I've read and listened to some of your thoughts on LSU.
Mm-hmm.
You think a lot of LSU this year. And on one hand, I absolutely can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure there's middle ground. I think
exactly.
It's either there or it explodes in the most spectacular fashion possible.
So you're 100% right. So I look at LSU this year, not to – go back to my alma mater. It's Gene Chizik pre-2012, right? He's over there.
He's just sitting right there.
No, it is.
It's okay.
Make or break.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It can go south in a hurry. It can be really, really good.
So why can it be really good?
Jake Peetz is a fantastic offensive coordinator, and he's going to do exactly what he did with Joe Brady. I think Steve Ensminger, it didn't rub off on Steve Ensminger the way it probably should have. So that's why the offense, I think it was good last year, but inconsistent. They didn't have a lot of experience. Now, healthy quarterback situation, very healthy quarterback situation, and the best healthy wide receiver in the SEC. Great running back room, 4 starters on offense, a dynamic offense that's going to score 35 points a game, and Bo Pelini isn't there. End of defensive analysis.
It's better than it was.
That's a shame for Mississippi State.
Well, think about, though, yes, it is. Think about LSU 2 years ago, right? Everyone's saying greatest team of all time. I think they might have been the greatest team of all time.
Sure.
Defense?
It's very, very
it's just
okay.
there. It was good. It was good. Yeah. Nice little defense. That's all. I mean, honestly, that's all they have to do this year. And I know going to Tuscaloosa is tough. I think they'll win that game. I think they'll get upset because your boys, Ole Miss, they're going to get somebody. And Ole Miss sort of the same thing. High or low. They're going to be great. They're going to be awful. No middle ground. I think LSU, the season as a whole, kind of the same thing. Because if it goes south in a hurry for LSU, then straight down. But if they get some confidence early, that offense clicks, the defense isn't confused, they're going to be really good.
You said healthy wide receiver. Do you see Keyshawn Boutte as one of the elite wide receivers in the SEC?
Yes.
Although I don't feel like people are really talking about him going into the year.
So when he caught 500 passes for 3.5 miles against Ole Miss last year,
I saw that.
You had a good view of that.
You had a real good view of that. Did anybody pay attention outside of you? No, but honestly, nobody paid attention to it. And I think when you look at all they had to go through last year with Miles Brennan being injured and just so much other just random stuff that they couldn't deal with, it was just all falling apart. For him to be that guy in that situation during a just abject disaster of a season, I think that he deserves it. And I don't want to take a whole lot from spring games because they're spring games. Tell me that dude did not look like Jamar Chase in that spring game.
Yeah.
He did.
Well, everybody's saying, okay, Max Johnson or Miles Brennan. Is the better question, does it matter?
It doesn't matter. That's 100% the better question because I think Miles Brennan was really good before he got hurt. And,
Not great in the first half of the opener. Seemed to settle in. Really good for 4 or 5
games, and then he got hurt. And then he got hurt.
His spleen popped out.
And it's popped out.
Close enough.
Or something like
Dr.
that. It was not good.
Organs just fell everywhere.
It's messy on the field.
But you're right. He was really, really good, and because of what happened in the opener against Mississippi State, nobody really paid attention to LSU after that. They go to the Missouri game 2 weeks later, they lose, but Miles Brennan throws for like 500 yards, 400 yards, or whatever it was. So when Max Johnson, sort of the same thing, really good. People paid attention when they beat Florida. It was like, oh, this kid's good too. So yeah, it doesn't matter who their quarterback is. It's a very healthy situation, even though it's kind of crazy to think what happened with last year at LSU is a healthy it produced a healthy situation, but it did.
Let's turn the page a little bit to the other side of your expectation spectrum for Mississippi State. I know you're not high on the Bulldogs at all this year.
I know Mississippi State fans will love to hear that.
Well, that's why we have you here.
That's the reason.
Yeah. People will hate listen, Barrett. You know how it works.
That's true. They hate listen.
We can't ever schedule you to join us on the radio. You're always busy.
Yes, you can.
So when you walk by, it's like grab and
yes,
throw
you
in.
can. That is a lie. I will always answer your texts.
Yes.
I'll say no a lot.
Yeah. He was golfing.
It was
last
kind of the
week.
point.
No, I was golfing
What'd you
last
shoot?
week. Oh, we don't need to talk about that.
But let's talk about the Bulldogs real quick. You're just not high on them.
No, I mean, look, I don't think that the system that Mike employs is going to work in the SEC. And I know Mississippi State fans like to say, okay, it worked at Washington State, it worked at Texas Tech. They don't have lines of scrimmage like those two in the SEC. I'm talking about defensively. And really, when your foundation for a Mike Leach offense is wide splits on the offensive line, and really offensive linemen who, let's be honest, Mississippi State is playing at a disadvantage from a talent perspective. That's just the way it is. It's going to be hard for Mississippi State to consistently move the football, because when I don't know why Bo Pelini didn't want to make an adjustment in the first game of last season,
but thank God,
but everybody else did.
Yeah.
So.
But didn't you see improvement from them down the stretch?
They did for sure. Absolutely. Look, I think improvement is one thing. Improvement to be a threat in a division that I think is actually, I wouldn't say great in the sense of top heavy. Mm-hmm. But because I think Alabama's going to take a little step back, not a huge step back, a little step back. But I think LSU's going to be good. I think Texas A&M's going to be really good. Ole Miss is really, really dangerous. And Auburn's going to be kind of solid. If you're going to be able to produce offense to stay with those teams consistently, then okay. I just don't know if Mississippi State can do that.
So how bad do you think they're going to be?
0-12. No.
Oh, my gosh. He had a good, no serious face. I was like,
all right. Well, when you said I thought you were about to go 0-8, but
0-12. No, I think they'll be 4-8, 5-7. If they win their toss-ups, all of them, okay, 6-6, go to the bowl game. And they could do that. I mean, look, if you catch your right games, if you catch the right toss-ups, you get the right luck, sure, you can win every toss-up. It's fine. But I just don't. I mean, I think it would take that.
Do you think the NC State game in Week 2 is like maybe the difference in going to a bowl game and not?
Good. Like I think NC State's just kind of like, kind of an afterthought for a lot of people that are, outside of the SEC or inside the SEC, and I think they're okay. They're pretty darn solid. And when you're Mississippi State, you're going to have to stop a pretty decent offense. What game was that? Game 3? Week 2.
Yeah,
right.
Week 2.
That's, again, you're going to ask your offense to probably score 25, 30, 35 points a game.
Visiting, obviously, with Barrett Sallee from CBSSports.com and lots of other places that you could find him as well. We played a game on Friday where we did kind of best case, worst case, fall in the middle. And the range between best case scenario and worst case scenario for Ole Miss was, I think, second only in my mind to LSU. Like
sure.
I had LSU at 11-1 on one end of the spectrum and 4-8 on the other.
100%. Could see that.
I think Ole Miss is in like the 4-8 to, if every possible thing goes right, they're 10-2. I don't think that's likely, but I think if everything works.
If everything works and they catch a couple breaks, sure. If their offense catches fire against the teams that it needs to catch fire against, I could see that. 4-8 I could also see, 100%. I'm with you, and I think that's the interesting part about Ole Miss is that you have such a great offensive foundation where you could legitimately see them putting up a 10-win season if you only look at the offense. And then you flip the page to the defense, and you're like,
That's what you just said about LSU. They just need to be all right on defense.
They need to be all right.
Yeah,
well, here's the thing with what Lane wants to do. He wants to build Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like before Oklahoma had a defense.
Yeah.
Where, you get the best players offensively, they tear it up, you prepare them for the NFL, and you pray to God you get a decent defense. And they don't have that right now, I don't think. But decent's not exactly a high bar.
Right.
Well, sure. And, I mean, to me, it's incremental. You don't have to go from, the second worst defense historically in the history of the SEC to a top 5 defense in the league.
You could be that bad to just mediocre.
Yeah. You go to
be 8th.
I was going to say 9th.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, if you're good or at least decent on the right day, you're going to have a chance to win every game. But you could be wrong. It would take Matt Corral, I think, not only doing what he did last year, maybe improving on it a little bit, but also, again, having Ole Miss win all of its toss-up games, be that 9-3, 10-2 team, then maybe, because in the process he might throw for 5,000 yards.
Yeah, that is a distinct possibility. Hey, man, great to see you. Thanks.
Yeah, man, good to see you guys. It's been too long.
It has been too long.
It's good to be back.
If you wouldn't say no every time, it wouldn't be so long.
I don't say no. Brian texted me when I had a golf tournament to play. And
I told him the biggest flex in the world would be sinking a putt for eagle while on the phone with us.
But we know what would happen. I would be sinking a putt. I'd miss a putt for triple bogey that's about 4 feet. But still might make for good radio.
It would make for good radio.
Probably lose your FCC license.